I always see the Minecraft version first. And then you feel when you walk around like, oh, I kind of know this place because I've seen it before in the game, which I guess is a testament to how even in a game that's as low resolution and blocky, you can still get the feel of the world around you.
Block by Block is a joint program between UN Habitat and Mojang, where we're taking Minecraft in workshops to allow local residents to redesign their public spaces in their own areas. UN Habitat works with local authorities and communities to put together the Minecraft design workshops. Then we fund the projects so they can be built in real life. So far we've done projects in Kenya, India, Haiti, and recently in Nepal. The great thing about these workshops is that people are just playing Minecraft. They're using the game the way it was built to be used, but then those creations that they make in-game are being built in the real world.
When you look at a 2D drawing, it makes it very difficult to understand, like, okay, here's one building, here's another building, but what does that actually mean? When you can walk around in Minecraft and realize, here's the pond, here's the building, then it makes it so much easier. So it breaks down the barriers. No one has to have any prior knowledge of the game to be able to understand how it works.
At the end of the workshop, each group presents their ideas to the local community and to City Council, where they will decide what will end up being built.
You know, what we do is that we actually give youth a language which they can speak to the local authorities with, a language which they understand better than the local authority. It gives them more strength in the dialogue.
For years, people have been using Minecraft to build these amazing creations. You know, it's fun, it's entertaining, it's creative, and now some of those creations are being used to change people's lives.
Hello. Hi everyone, thank you for coming. My name is Pontus Westerberg and I'm the coordinator for the Block by Block program at UN Habitat. As you saw in the video, Block by Block is a partnership between UN Habitat and Mojang, where we use Minecraft to involve communities, particularly young people, in the design of good public spaces. We're focused on developing countries. I've got my colleagues with me here. Jose Chong, who's an architect at UN Habitat. Eugenio Gastelum, who runs the biggest Minecraft community in Latin America and works with us on different projects across the world. And then we have our good friends at Fire UK who do all our builds. And of course, Vu from Mojang, who we've been working with for the last 3 years. We're going to go through a presentation where we'll tell you a little bit about UN Habitat and the work that we do, why we work with public space, and then some case studies of how we used Minecraft in this project. And then Fire UK will go through some of the builds that they've done and tell us a little bit more about how it works and show you some of the fantastic maps. So UN Habitat, the UN is a bit complex. It's made up of lots of different organizations. And UN Habitat is the part of the UN that works with cities, city planning. We're mainly focused on developing countries, but we do work on all continents. And we got into contact with Mojang about 3 years ago in 2012. And when we first contacted them, they were really interested in working together with the United Nations. And over the last 3 years, we've built a fantastic partnership which involves both using Minecraft for community participation, but also fundraising with the Minecraft community. So I think so far we managed to raise nearly $3 million, and all that money is going towards actually implementing real building projects in poor countries in the world. I'm going to pass over to my colleague here, Jose, who will tell you a little bit more about public space and why we work with that particular issue.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Jose Chong, architect working with UN Habitat. I'm going to talk a little bit about what is public space issues. first of all, please don't get distracted about this T-shirt. It's a kind of nice T-shirt, but it's like usually in the UN conference, I don't have the opportunity to wear like this. So this is a kind of very nice or cool thing, like now being in Minecraft, in MINECON. So I will start about public space. And actually, when you are doing public space, when they're using Minecraft, you are designing public space. This is a snapshot of the presentation that we have yesterday about the video. And if you see the characters, the villagers, and also the players, you have in the background images of the city of London. And actually, this is the relation between Minecraft and public space. But also there is a relation what is happening in the real city. After Minecon, I went to the city, I went to the town, Piccadilly Circus, and I took a picture of the real city. So there is a relation between the things that you do in Minecraft and also in the real city. And basically the relations and the project that we are working with the UN Habitat is the relation between the virtual world and the real world. So something that is very important for us is like to know what is a public space, and this is a very important question. So I will change this question on what activities do you do normally in the public space. For example, I will ask to the audience, how many of you go to meet a person? Can you raise a hand, the people who goes to the public space to visit a person? How many of you goes to buy like some goods, like to do the shopping? How many of you go to play in the public space? Do you practice some sports? So this is less people. So basically, there is the importance of the public space. We have a more formal definition. We are saying that all public space are all places publicly owned or for public use. So basically, it belongs to the local government or are used for the public, accessible and enjoyable by all, for free and without a profit motive. So this is very important, that is for free, that you don't have to pay to enter to the public space. And this is something that we are facing a lot of problems in many countries. So we are saying basically here that public space is an important issue because it's a place where the people hang out. So it's a place where you meet with your friends. It's a place when you feel safer when you are with another people around. It's a place where you can protest and demonstrate. It's like most of the demonstrations happens in the public space. So this is a very important issue. But also, it's a place where the people can walk, run, and cycle. The people that don't need to use cars. And for example, also it's a place where you can go to do the shopping, to do window shopping, etc. But this is the important thing. We believe that the street is the heart of the city. In many countries around the world, you will see that, that there is no parks, that there are not open public spaces, but streets always exist because they are very important for communication between the different parts of the city. And why the street is the heart of the city? Because it's the most important public space, because it's improved the quality of life for the people and create value and identity. We are saying this is some statistics. This is the only statistics that we're going to present. It's like UN Habitat is saying that 50% of the city needs to be a public space. It's between 35% like allocated to street and 15% allocated to other public uses. For example, Manhattan, Barcelona, and Brussels. London maybe well, we don't have the specific statistic, but it's close to 35% of the land allocated to streets. But now I think that the majority of the people who are here are coming from the developed world, but also we have another realities. We live in Nairobi, in Kenya, where you see this kind of settlements. So basically, also you can see the public space, the communications, but this is a very different context. So basically, this is a reality where we work. There is not the extreme case, but also it's something that we are trying to improve the condition of these spaces around the world. So basically, this is the different projects that we have, and Mojang and Minecraft is helping us for participation processes in the developing world. So I will explain very quickly about the normal participation. In Minecraft, you have what you call communities. So basically, what we are doing here is community participation. But sometimes what we have is like a normal process of community participation where the people talk, but there is not so easy like to understand the ideas or the opinions of all the participants. So we have like this kind of meetings. For example, this is an example for Haiti. But the problem is like there's always people who speak more or are more outspoken. So basically, it's like a very difficult for the kid, for example, to raise their ideas, for the women, or for the elder people. So basically, they are there, but there is not a way like for them to communicate their ideas on the design of the public space. So basically, what we are doing is like we started actually in Kibera, in Nairobi, in Kenya, with a problem that we had, and basically we brought Minecraft to conciliate the different opinions of the different stakeholders or the different people who works around the public space. So actually, Minecraft helped us to get some conciliation between the different parts in the design of the public space. So to finalize, it's we are using Minecraft because we believe that this is an important tool for inclusive community participation. I will hand to my colleague. He will explain a little bit more about the process with two specific examples.
Hello, hello. My name is Eugenio Gastelum from Mexico City, and I do the workshops around the world with UN Habitat and with Mojang and with working with FireOK also. I'm going to talk about two examples we have about workshops we do. So what is the process here? First of all, the guys from UN Habitat pick a public space that is going to be intervened, and we use pictures of the public space. We use maps, Google Maps. Whoa! We use public space, Google Maps, plans of the sites. Well, they use them, and they build these amazing Minecraft models. This is a picture from Plaza Tlaxcuaque in Mexico. The original picture is up, and down you can see the amazing work that FireUK has done to reproduce that public space as it is now, right? They build it as it is. If it's ugly, they build it ugly. If it's beautiful, they build it beautiful. They try to be as exact as they can, right? So then we handle these models to the kids, to the community leaders, to the elder women in the communities, to the elder men, to everyone in the community that wants to involve and participate to improve their public space, right? And they start, and from that models, we go then to the plans that the architects will use to improve that public space, the final plannings. In Mexico City last year, we have a challenge with a lot of participants. We delivered, it was like 1,000 maps, and we had like 1,000 entries to more than 700 kids. Here is the original photo of the event that we had. We had a lot of kids involving in the process of improving Plaza Tlaxcuaque. So they gave us 1,000 entries to the contest, right? From that 1,000 entries, we chose 20 finalists, then 4 winners. A winner in security, a winner in security, and a winner in playfulness, sociability, and an overall winner. This is a different project. This is a project at Lima in Villa El Salvador, in Peru. This was a park in informal human settlement. When you see these pictures, I want you to imagine living there, having your kids going to that park. What kind of life, what kind of safe can they have in that kind of park? That is what we are trying to change with this project, right? Giving them a nice public space to have a better quality of life, right? So this is the original public space. In the top you can see the original photo, and then the amazing work that FireUK did to reproduce it as exactly as it can be. Then we have a workshop with the community. When they said the main problems of the site, we focus on the main problems on the site. And then they work together, elder people, you can see, working with kids, to make models that make propositions to improve that problems, right? All working together as a team, all involved in the process to make some how do you say, they put their ideas in the map, right? The things that they wanted to see in the park, they placed them there. You can see they placed grass. They want to see grass in that place, right? They want to see a pool. Sometimes they gave us ideas that are maybe not possible, but they are good ideas because we are hearing what they want, right? They're expressing themselves. Here they placed a courtyard, some benches, also grass, right? Here you can see in the top they placed a health center for the people in the community, right? They also placed courtyards. You can see a little farm there, right? From that models, all the models they gave us, we come up with the statistics of the most common elements that they want. For example, we can see, oh, this is in Spanish. I can see, you maybe can't, right? But for example, we can see where this says alberca, that's the pool. So two people here ask for a pool. It's not so common that the people there want a pool. But at the top is illumination. So more people in that community wants public lights in the park, right? So the most common elements were sport fields, urban furniture, plants, skate park. And from that, all that ideas they had, we came out with the final model, right? This is the final model that was handed to the municipality of the community so they can improve that park. We see there more courtyards, more green areas, more trees, more playgrounds, etc., right? Picture of it at night, picture from the front. This was the final model we had made with all their ideas. And that's it for me. So I hope you understand a little more about what we are doing. I want to thank the guys from UN Habitat, the guys from Mojang that have been very involved with us, especially Boo, Little Winters, and all the guys from Mojang, and the guys from Fire UK.
Well, thank you. Thank you. So I am Matt from Fire UK. This is Phil from Fire UK. Say hi, Phil.
Hi, Phil.
Oh, there we go.
Hi, Phil.
There we go. That's great. So if we can cut over to my screen, if that is possible, hopefully that is possible, because I'm going to show you guys some cool things in Minecraft. And it's going to be pretty cool. I'm going to show you guys around some of the maps, and we're going to talk about some of the different things. I don't know if... Thanks. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to have a look through, I think, 4 of the models that we've done, some of our favorites.
There we go.
That's cool music. That's not me. That's cool.
Why do we have music?
That's not me. That's cool though. We got music. It definitely wasn't me.
Okay.
Can we cut the music? Thank you. Definitely wasn't me. But anyway, so this is us in the block by block lobby here. Now, this is a lobby I've set up where we can have a look around and we can tour some of the models we've done. It's pretty cool. There's a lot of different models you can see we've done.
I think the first one we're going to look for, which one do you want to choose first? Okay, so the first one we're going to look at is the one in Nepal. This was quite a special one just for myself because I got to travel out to look at the site beforehand and sort of gather up a lot of reference material, a lot of pictures, a lot of video. So there we go, we're just falling through the world. There we go.
It takes a little while because obviously we're running off the Wi-Fi here, so it's
Yeah.
a little bit interesting to connect to a server. But this is the model that was actually shown in that first video as well. It was
There we
in the
go, the
opening
rest of the
ceremony as
buildings
well.
are now.
There we go.
So yeah, this was a very cool one to build. The whole process of building does take quite a while, and for us it's quite a fun challenge because for those of you that are familiar with our videos, we're not usually building real structures. You know, we don't have to be confined to the reality of the world where we can just build like flying structures. So it's nice to actually ground us in on here. But Replicating this area, so it's very important for us to make sure we get it as accurate as possible, because it helps with the whole process of people coming in and sharing their ideas, and they're able to instantly recognize it. Throughout the build, we're always literally going back and forth, making sure it's checked with the photographs and all the video footage that we have. And it's really amazing when we get to workshop day and people come in and instantly know where they are, and they can say, yeah, that's my house, like over on the side there, and they could just relate to it immediately and just throw in their input to it.
Yeah, and I think one thing that's really interesting for us is going in and trying to find things in Minecraft that can represent the things in real life. So for these like bars along the side of the water area here, we went back and forth. We tried it with fences, we tried it without entirely, and we just kind of went back and forth. And iron bars was just kind of like that choice we wanted to go with, you know. But that's kind of an interesting but weird thing to think about. We have to be like, okay, so what in Minecraft represents this in real life? And that's a lot of fun sometimes, just figuring out what works sometimes. It's great.
Because a lot of the time, you're never going to get exactly what is there in real life. I mean, there's not enough blocks in the game. So we just have to try and represent it as best we can, which is easily accessible. We don't need to have it exactly inch for inch accurate. We need to have it enough so that people can look at the wall and go say, I know exactly where this wall is. I know exactly how much space I'm dealing with here. And it means that they can actually go in and put down what they want to put down.
Yeah, so we're going to have a look at another model here. This is for one we did in Haiti. And this is, I think, the biggest one we did. This is a huge model that we did, so I'll let it load in here. It is a ginormous model, and I actually sculpted all of the landscape in this before we even started building, so it's to make it look as realistic and as accurate to the actual continent itself. So that was really tricky. But you can see this is a ginormous build that we did, and we tried to make it as close to the actual, real pictures and the real place as possible.
Yeah. So when we actually go down to sit through the build, we usually get sent a lot of reference material. We get sent some maps from UN Habitat, which outline the areas that are key for focusing on. So we made sure that these are the absolute highest detail we can possibly get. And from then on, we try to work our way out from there and make sure that we don't always have access to Google Maps and Street View on every single build that we do. We normally are sometimes limited to just overview and then the pictures that we got. So we spend a lot of time kind of doing, putting some photos together, actually looking through all the images we're sent through to try and map them down and get a good idea of where everything is if we're not able to go out there. Because we have a lot of projects that come through, and it's not always feasible to get everybody out there. So we can't go out to every single model, but we have an awesome team of people that do go there. They give us all the information we need, and even if we need some more pictures, they facilitate it as well. So
yeah, I think a lot of the time it's really tricky finding the exact right angle, because sometimes we're like, oh, we can't see what's down there. Can we get a picture of that and stuff like that? And it's really interesting because we want to make it as detailed and as accurate as possible. We want to make this a place that you could visit, but in Minecraft. We want to make it as realistic as possible. And obviously to do that, we need as many reference images and videos and things like that. And luckily we get some really, really great ones, especially between those and Google Maps. We kind of mix those two things together, and we managed to make hopefully something that looks really cool here. I mean, hopefully this, people like this, because it took us a long time. I remember taking, I think this one took probably the longest out of everything we've built, and it was definitely an intricate and very detailed build to go through.
But it's quite interesting for me because, as Lydia said in the video, you see it in the game, and then when you actually go there in real life, it actually takes a second for you to realize, I actually do feel like I've been around here. I know exactly what's around that corner. And I had that experience when I went out to the Nairobi site, and I hadn't seen the place before other than pictures that Vu went out and took. And then we built it, and I was in my head, I was like, is it right? I don't know. And in the entire journey there, I was thinking, there's going to be something I missed. There's a corner, there's going to be a street I missed, and then suddenly we ended up there, and it was a whole amazing experience of just kind of.
It was like you'd already walked around it.
I had never been there in my life, but I'd already been there. It was quite a surreal
that's
experience.
really cool. Okay, so I'll jump over to another model now.
Yep.
I'm not sure which one this is going to be, but hopefully it'll be another cool one. I'm going to have a look, so let me do this. Doing it with one hand is kind of interesting.
There you go. I will hold the
Thank
microphone
you.
for you.
You're my microphone
I'll be
stand.
your boom arm for
That's
the microphone.
Shall we do this in YouTube videos where you just hold the mic for me?
But then I'm not going to get to play.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. So let's take a look here. We've got another one here. This is the one we did for Somalia. This is a market, which is really cool. So we'll take a look at this one. Okay, so this is a really interesting area because there's actually an old theater, like an old theater that's knocked down, or is going to be like kind of fixed up and kind of changed around. So if we go out here, you can see it. This is really cool. This is another really, really big model. There we go. I've taken control of the microphone again. So this area is really, really detailed. Like we put a lot of time in making sure that like these houses are where they should be, like the entire shape of them are exactly how they should be. And I remember this taking a really long time.
Yeah.
And I remember the stage itself, the theater area, us kind of going back and forth on that for such a long time. And I think this is the first time when we had the issue of, oh, some of those blocks don't look right because, Minecraft has those default blocks. And people are like, can we not use a texture pack? And I was like, no texture pack, right? We have to figure out a way to do this and make it look perfect in Minecraft. And they were like, well, how about if we mess around with some of the mushroom ID blocks? Which is a really interesting thing because there's those huge mushrooms you can get in like the mushroom biomes and stuff. And we actually found a really good block which represented something that is almost sand-like. This block right here is a mushroom block in default Minecraft that worked really well because it wasn't a normal yellow sand. It was something that's slightly off. And we wanted to kind of get that without having to change the blocks up too much. And it worked really well.
Yeah, it's always quite a challenge because you're never going to get the exact texture of the real world, but you want to get it as best you can and add just those little bits of details that really just bring the whole thing together. I mean, you can have the whole thing as one color. In fact, what we usually do is start off making a lot of things in wool, and we just do layouts, and we make sure before putting any heavy detail in that we've got the buildings exactly where we want them to go, that they're in the right place, the right size. And then after we do that, we go for a couple of different runs of like, okay, so we'll make this one stone, we'll make this one wood, and then we just kind of change it up. And it's with each new version, with the new blocks coming in, it's actually making it a lot easier. So thank you for updating the game, Vu.
Yeah, the
very,
Mojang
very
team
much
always
appreciated.
Yeah.
It was you personally, so
you coded them in, Vu. Is that you? Yeah, totally did that. Yeah, but that's cool. I like that. There's always these new things coming into Minecraft, and we try to incorporate those in some ways as well, which is really, really cool. So I'm going to show one more off. We're going to visit one more place. Yeah, one more place. So I hope people have been enjoying these. I think it's really interesting to look back as well at these, because some of these we've done like over the last 2 years, and look back at how far things have gone. So I'm going to move to one, a slightly newer one, and have a look at some of the stuff we've been doing more recently. Okay.
Do you want me to hold the microphone for you again?
Oh, are you doing this again?
We're doing this again.
Okay, cool. Right, so let's head over this area where it's much later on, and we've got one here in Peru, which I believe is the one that we just showed in the presentation as well. So we'll take a look at this one. This is a little bit more urbanized as an area, so I thought that's quite interesting to look at. So this was the area from the presentation that was talked about. That was all worked on and changed, and it looks very different now in the final model version. But this is just what it was like originally. But to that, and this is something that we really tried to do, is we tried to build the area around it so much. So for example, we didn't just build the park. We didn't just want to build that and then the section around that. We kind of went out of our way and we made something much bigger, and we expanded it so that those people from that area could kind of familiarize themselves with local sites. So there's all of these buildings, all these different stores and houses all around here that it's just, a huge place that you can go and explore, and hopefully that helped them kind of familiarize themselves a little bit more with all of the area, because there is so much to it, and it just goes on and on and on. It's ginormous.
It is absolutely massive. It was quite a fun challenge to take on because we wanted to make sure that we got as much in there as possible, and when we set out the area, I don't think we quite knew at the time what exactly we were getting ourselves into, because there was a couple of late nights we were looking there, and we run into issues quite a lot where we would do a build, and then we realized that we needed to add an extra block on one street. And we're thinking, okay, that doesn't sound too hard. And then you realize you have to move half of the model entirely over by one, and then make sure that it all lines up again. And yeah, there was a couple of points like that. But the challenges in itself are well worth it when, we realized this very early on when we actually sat in on the workshops, and we realized how intuitive it was and how easily people got into it and how much they actually got out of the project as a whole. And like we were saying earlier, the information that we get back from it is quite vital to the actual area, because these are spaces that people are using day to day in their lives, and it's stuff that we almost take for granted really around here. So it's the fact that we can actually do something for us, just playing a game, and produce something that genuinely helps real people in the real world, is quite special for us. So we're really, really proud to be part of this project. And
yeah, definitely.
You guys.
Yeah, it's really, really great that we get to kind of do this and be involved in this and build these really amazing places, and then also hear the feedback from the the different sessions and the workshops, and seeing all these really cool things that people get to actually create and do things like that. It's amazing. It really is. It's really, really cool. Okay, so
do you want to say any words, Vu? Like some any final comments about your? Before we start asking questions and such, yeah.
Yeah, I'm more interested in hearing people's questions about this, but the question I typically get first is why did we do this in the first place? And so I'll just address that now. We did not come up with the idea ourselves. It's actually another organization in Sweden who used Minecraft to redesign an area in northern Sweden. They wanted to engage certain youth in the community, and they did it just as an experiment, and it worked. It was really successful. So they actually reached out to Carl, our former CEO, and he approved them reaching out to UN Habitat to pitch this idea to be able to do this. And luckily, Thomas Millen, who works with Pontus, had the foresight to say this could really be something. And then now we've assembled this crack team of people who make this happen. And it's been really exciting for us because we have a few projects, right, that are about Minecraft the game, but not used in just pure gaming. One is Minecraft in education, and the other is block by block. And to be able to use what is designed and created as purely a game in things that are not necessarily gaming related, but being able to take those benefits of the game and then help people's real lives, that is really special for us. We're not developing a separate version of Minecraft to do that. This is not like the architect version. This is just the game itself, but it can be used for things outside of what it was intended for, which was just pure fun. And that's super exciting for us.
Cool.
Thanks a lot, guys. I hope that gives at least some background and information about what we're doing with Minecraft in Block by Block. But it would be really great to hear your questions, and hopefully we should be able to answer them. So without further ado.
So, thank you. So if you have a question, just hold your hand up high, and we'll come over to you and answer your questions. We speak loudly if you can. Just
Okay.
obviously with the other areas going on, it might be difficult for us.
Hi,
so.
good morning.
Hi.
As a mom of a 12-year-old Minecraft fanatic, I think this is wonderful to see a game, spill over into reality. So congratulations on that. How many projects are being worked on using Block by Block, and have you completed any of them yet?
So in the whole public space program, we are currently running about 35 projects. Out of those, I think 12 we've used Minecraft, and one is completed so far in Nepal. I think it was the second one that Matt showed. The lead time for a lot of these projects is quite long. It takes several months to get the Minecraft workshops up and running, and then the process beyond the Minecraft workshop of kind of architectural planning, design, planning permission, all that kind of stuff is probably something like 1 to 2 years. And the program started in 2012, so we're kind of 2.5 years into it. One project completed so far that we used Minecraft for. I would say that by the end of this year we should probably be about 5, and then a lot more kind of starting to finish in 2016.
Yeah, that might seem like a silly question, but are the maps available for the community or not?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. It's something we've talked about, is having some sort of public server where people can go and explore these maps and look at that, and that's something we're definitely looking at this year, where we want the community to be able to go in and have a look at these. I think because we want to take these to these developing countries and do really cool things, they won't be editable for the community, but you can go on and you can explore them, almost like museum pieces where you can go on and look through, and it'll be using this lobby that you see behind me. You'll be able to look around that and walk around that, and that's something we're looking at setting up this year, so that'll be something we'll announce in the coming months.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, to add on to that, like one of our principles in how Block by Block is run is that if someone's going to have input on a public space, it should be an area that they are affected by, right? So this is one of the reasons why, as he said, like we won't make it editable, because this isn't about letting someone who has never been where you've been, who doesn't understand your life or circumstance or what this space will be used for, coming in and saying like, "Ooh, I think it'd be cool if there was a fountain here," right? Like that wouldn't make sense. So that's the reason they won't be editable, because you should have input in your own life, in your own public space, and not outsiders, so to speak. So.
Hi, I've got a question for Fire UK. How long does it take you to generate the original sort of world when you're generating the 3D world? And what tools do you use to try and help automate that process? Do you think you could make that more efficient?
That's a good question. I'll hand over to Matt for the big one about the actual creation of one of the worlds. But the process as a whole, normally from when we get sent the images and the brief of sort of what needs done, it can take anywhere from sort of 2 to 3 weeks or a month. I think the month is pretty much the longest one we spend full on production actually creating. We usually have a crack team of about 10 or so people that work with us on the project, and a lot of them burn a lot of the midnight oil to actually get these done in time for the workshops, because as the nature of the whole project, you know, we sometimes get ones that we have to get done very quickly to make sure that we can get into the workshops on time. So we make sure we work around the clock, and yeah, we put our best guys on it, and yeah.
Okay, so I will slightly talk about the terrain generation side of things, which it was done with an external program, so I don't want to talk about it too much, because we try to do everything within Minecraft itself, and that's by like 99.9% of everything we do is vanilla default in Minecraft. But specifically for the Haiti map, I actually sculpted that all in World Painter, and then used World Painter, which is an external program, to generate the outlines and the contours of that land. And then I put that in Minecraft, then we fixed it up by hand in-game and polished it ourselves. That was because of the scale of that. That was ginormous, and I think the accuracy of World Painter just helped getting that coastline very exact and things like that, and that just helped as a base to kind of go from there. And again, that's World Painter kind of uses a mixture of techniques from Minecraft to things I know with Photoshop and things like that, so it kind of helps kind of knowing those things as well to kind of go in and be very specific.
Great, thank you.
How do you fund the projects, and do you think this will help engage teenagers or young people in philanthropy?
I can take that one. So I guess 2 questions in one. So as a UN agency, we work directly with governments. Most UN agencies work with national governments, but because we have our mandate or our focus, which is to work with cities, we always work in partnership with local authorities. So typically a local authority will approach us with a particular project that they would like to do, and then we develop it together with them. And typically the building of the public space is only one part of the whole project in a sense. We also work with softer issues like legislation, for example, or rules or policies and so on. So what will typically happen is that we will work with the local authority, build the public space, but then we will build the capacity of that local authority to work more broadly with public spaces. So in Nairobi, for example, where we're based, we have built one public space, but the local authority has committed to doing another 50 in the next few years with funding that doesn't come from us. And as well, they've introduced a policy and a plan around public spaces for the whole city. So that's how it works. With regards to philanthropy, I mean, I think I played SimCity when I was younger, and we always used to say that, you know, this is going to produce the future urban planners of the future, and I think that's the case. And I think it's the same thing with the Minecraft community, that a lot of the young kids that are now playing Minecraft are going to be, you know, urban planners and architects of the future. So it's really important through this project and through Fire UK and their community, we are able to have a conversation with young people, not only in the developing countries, but also in the North, in Europe and North America, about these important issues, you know, public space, urban planning, and so on. So it's a great opportunity for us to raise some of these issues of sustainable urbanization with younger people who will grow up. Maybe they won't just build glass and steel buildings when they grow up.
Only to add about the information about how do we select the projects, it's like we have a selection criteria. Pontus explained most of it, but also we are looking like for the regional balance. So we have projects in Latin America, in Africa, in Asia, And also we are looking for projects that are, have a thematic focus. For example, in some places we are working on public space and public transport. In other projects we are working in public space and livelihoods. In other projects it's like we are looking for example, how to adapt public space to people with disabilities. So also we are looking for this because at the end these are only pilot projects. We are using this as a pilot project that we can extract lessons that then we can also provide to other local governments. So basically that's why we are managing these kind of projects. And actually the funding is helping us to develop this kind of understanding of what is needed on public space. And this is looking through the process of Habitat 3, that is a very big conference that we are going to have in 2016, defining the future policies on urban issues, no? But this is a UN stuff. But basically, it's like this has this kind of balance between the different regions and the different thematic areas.
Thanks. I'm really curious about the fact that you made some of the models so big beyond the area that you're actually looking at. Do you find that by making the area larger beyond the public space that the local people become more engaged in it?
Yeah, I think it helps in many different ways. That if you can relate to the area as a whole, even if you're only focusing on one particular bit, if you're running around, it almost kind of helps you get your bearings. If like you're running in game down the way that you walk to school or something, and you know you walk past the park, if you kind of recreate that, it helps, you know, jog your memory of kind of like, okay, so when I'm walking down here, I actually think this. And, you know, although we only build like, you know, the initial area which we say, this is the one we need people to focus on, it means that if there is something that's just outside the area as well that people feel affected by, it means that it's just more for them to actually engage with and put down. If we only gave them like the initial like tiny area and said, this is all you can build, and it would feel almost too restrictive, I feel, as a project. So giving them a wider area around it can hopefully just give them the option of ideas. I mean, as a whole, you know, yes, we only, you know, we want them to work on that area, but if by, you know, looking around at something else, they get an idea of like, oh, this is an issue here. I wonder if it is actually an issue in that area as well. It can just help spark ideas. I mean, it'll come down to the individual at the time playing it and actually going through the model themselves, but we want to just try and put as much information in there as possible for people to actually interact with.
And just to add to that as well, that from the perspective of working with local authorities, it can be quite important to wow them a little bit, because you know, when you go to the city planning department of a local authority, a city somewhere, and you say we're actually using a video game for community participation, there's quite a long conversation that needs to happen there to kind of convince them of the value and so on. And so to have a really good model that is perhaps bigger and more impressive is very useful in that conversation.
Good morning or good afternoon, whatever. After you have built your final project, your final plan, I can imagine that although communities ordered you themselves to like come in and help them, that the local government isn't really like happy with it. How do you deal with friction between what the local government wants and what the local community clearly wants?
Yes, UN Habitat has many years of experience of community participation. And basically we are innovating using Minecraft as a tool of community participation. So these questions relates to the whole community participation processes. We are using another tools also, but this kind of tool, Minecraft, it has helped us like to communicate better and to have a longer relationship with the government. Sometimes it's easier like to focus in a model, in a workshop, in like to discuss about physical things in three-dimensional status than, for example, to see a plan. In reality, I will say that from the experience that we have so far, like with different working in different participation processes, it helps a lot like to engage the community with the local government, because at the end it's like we understand that in some point the UN agency has to leave, but if we establish a real relationship between the community and the local government, they know that there is a proper channel like to have like these direct communications. So this is something that also we keep in mind, that we are not going to be there forever. It's like we have to build like the specific channels of communication between communities and local governments, and then it's like we have to, and also in one of the components like to select the local government, we are saying to them that they have to follow up the processes. So they have to continue with community participations. In some cases, we have like a certain local government that are very keen to continue this process by their own, with Minecraft or with another tools. But I think that is very useful, and it helps because if not, in reality, when you only deliver some project and we don't have this kind of long-term process, it's you don't build a sustainability in the whole process. It's there is many projects that you only put the resources to you build the infrastructure, but when you leave, it's the infrastructure get deteriorated very fast. So basically, this kind of process help to strengthen the relationship between communities and local governments.
Yeah, hi. Oh, sorry.
Hello.
Oops. Hello. I'm trying to overspeak the guy to the left there. Could you speak a little bit about the workshops themselves and how you run them? Is there a single model where there's a dialogue among the group that's assembled, or are there a number of folks uploading their concept design to the servers? As an architect, professionally, we often have workshops where there's one model, a Rhino model or some, quote unquote professionally built model, and then one person is making all the changes. But here, it seems like the opportunity is so great to engage folks through Minecraft to upload their own options, their own ideas. So how do the workshops work?
So we don't have a set in stone process, but we tend to follow a kind of template. And a typical workshop would be 5 days. We would probably have something like 30 participants, maybe 30 to 40 participants. Roughly 3 or 4 people around each computer, so they're working in groups. And on the first day, we'll typically have a kind of bigger meeting where we involve the people that are going to be building in Minecraft, but also other stakeholders like the city planning department of the local authority, UN Habitat staff, some architects, so professionals in a sense. And on that first day, we talk about the site itself, our approach to community participation, why public space is important, perhaps do a field visit to the site, and so on. And then we proceed into some training, which Eugenio usually runs, where we basically train the participants in Minecraft. And it's fantastic to see how easy it is to pick it up. We've been in Haiti, for example, with people that have very, very limited computer skills. And within a couple of hours, they're really starting to be able to build. So then, with our support, the participants build for 2 or 3 days in groups. And then on the final day, we invite the professionals back in again. And the participants present their designs, their ideas to the professionals, and we have a kind of wider discussion about what elements are common, which kind of things are able to be included from a budgetary perspective. And that grid that I think Jose showed that Eugenio showed with the different elements and which groups had kind of included them is really useful in that perspective. And then from then we go into a kind of budgetary exercise and design exercise, which is with the local authority.
With the project in Nepal, have you had further interaction with the participants in the workshop after the project was finished?
Yes, we have very close relationship both with our Nepal office, the local authority, and the participants of the workshop. So actually, we completed the first project, which Matt showed, and we just started a second project earlier this year, around February, March. We did the Minecraft workshops, and then unfortunately the earthquake hit. It's the town that we're working on in Nepal is called Kirtipur. It's just outside Kathmandu, and it was not too badly affected by the earthquake, but there were been a lot of people that have been homeless and so on. We have been in contact with the people from the community, and we know that everyone is fine, but the project is now obviously on hold while the kind of rescue operations are going on.
Hi, I just wanted to ask, I think the idea is fantastic. I think, just like Vu's mentioned, bridging between a game and doing things to the benefit of outside of that is amazing. I just wondered, when you finish a project, is that when your engagement finishes, or do you carry on staying engaged, and how do you measure the benefits of that?
No, yes. I will say that the Minecraft workshop is one of the initial stages of all the relationships that we have with the local government. So it's like basically we usually what that we have is like a first scoping mission, like to see what is the situation on the ground, to meet the different partners. Then we plan for a Minecraft workshop where we invite all the stakeholders. We have the Minecraft workshop where we gather the ideas, but after the Minecraft workshop, we continue engaging with the local government. I will say that maybe in our relation with until we finalize the project is like a couple of years after the Minecraft workshop. So actually we continue with them. So in the case of Nairobi, for example, we have more than 2 years now working with Nairobi. We are almost 3 years working with Nairobi, and still we are engaging with Nairobi in other issues that is not specific related with Minecraft. But we continue working with the local governments.
I had a two-part question. The first one was, I noticed with the Lima picture of the playground, it was very desolate and terrible looking. But the visual language of Minecraft never looks quite that bad. So is that a challenge, actually, that the visual language of the video game can't accurately represent, as well as you might like, the conditions on the ground that you want to change? And then the second question I had was, do you interact with the Millennium Development Goals around sustainable and safe development? Because it seems like this could overlap with whatever goal 7 or 8 in particular. And are you working closely with that to use these projects to further that? But really amazing work. So thank you. It's great stuff.
Thanks. So in terms of the game not accurately representing reality in a sense, that's kind of part of it. You know, the blocks are this big. It's never going to be, you know, doing circles, doing slopes, all that kind of stuff is quite difficult. And we do get this question, you know, quite a lot. I don't think it really matters, because the main point is to get the ideas out there. And even if, you know, people that have very limited computer skills and have never played video games before, you know, in a 3 or 4 day workshop, they never get to be able to build stuff like Fire UK. But they are able to kind of express their ideas, and you can do that, you know, even if you build, you know, a really crappy house, you can still show it's a house, you know. And I think that for us, that's the kind of main thing. It's about getting the creativity flowing. With regards to the Millennium Development Goals, I'll pass over to Jose, but UN Habitat has basically been responsible for the slum target of Goal 7, which has been met, significantly improved the lives of 100 million slum dwellers. Not the best target, maybe. But what's more interesting, I think, is that their new sustainable development goals are being developed at the moment, and they will be decided by all the countries in the world later on this year. And it's almost certain that there will be a specific target on cities, and UN Habitat, together with member states, has lobbied really hard for that. But even more importantly for this project is that there is a sub-target on public space. And that, for us, is a huge thing. And without, I think, the support of Mojang and other partners in kind of putting public space on the map, that goal or that target would probably not have been there. You want to add something? Or?
No, I think that Ponto said everything, so I don't have to add anything on this. Only related to the level of detail. And actually, the level of detail of Minecraft for an architect or for people working like us is actually an advantage, because it's not a very defined model where you don't have the room like, for example, in the Minecraft, it's like the blocks is 1 by 1. So you still have the room to improve a little bit the technical details of the models or the maps. So you don't have to, basically it's like give you the basic zoning, give you the basic information that you need to incorporate to a public space, but it's not a final product. So actually we still have the room, for example, like to discuss with the technical teams, with the local authorities, like to specify or to be more specific in the design of the public space. Well, I think that Pontus explained about the sustainable development goals. Actually, this is an urban goal, and most probably there is going to be a specific goal on public space. So it's very secure. It's going to be a goal on safe and inclusive public space. So from 2015 to 2030, we will have a new urban development goal related to public space.
I would add just quickly, like using Minecraft, it does remove detail, like Jose said, but that are the workshops. In order for them to function, they need to be able to be executable in a short period of time. And if you only are having people have input in the form and function, overall large-scale form and function of a space, as opposed to the details, like what color door handle, right? Like people shouldn't be focused on those things because that would distract from the real issues. So in order to be able to manage these workshops in a shorter period of time, Minecraft actually is better because it's not detailed. And about the, and not being able to look quite as maybe desolate or decrepit as an area might look, the people who are working on it, they all have been there and they all know the area, right? It's their space. So they know exactly what it represents and they're able to picture that when they play it.
When do you hope to add to or even replace the PC-based version with the hologram? Because I can imagine that the city planners are going to be all over that because of the three-dimensionality.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a great question that you should ask maybe 3 or 4 MineCons from now. Yeah, I have no information on like what kind of timeline we can look at for that kind of technology. There is a great preview that people saw at E3 of like what's to come, but that's, I think we're a ways off before we're transitioning anything.
I just want to echo what a lot of the parents have said. It's such a great example that y'all set. So many of us parents, I'm sure, do philanthropy, but for y'all to do it is just great because hopefully the kids, it'll sink a little deeper than when they see us doing it. One question that I had, are there additional philanthropies or organizations that y'all are interested in expanding kind of your giving back to the community footprint?
Currently, we're focused on block by block. We feel like, we are a small company. Mojang is 50 people. And right now, we're focusing all of our efforts on block by block and then our Minecraft and education program because it allows us to have a central focus for how we want to be philanthropic. That doesn't mean it limits us to never being involved in other things, but those are definitely our focus. And when it comes to other things, we can consider smaller projects and various cooperations, but our focus is definitely on block by block. I want to thank you for the beginning part of your question, which was more of a comment. We want to be able to help pave the way for these kinds of things to happen. One of our other principles is not just about engaging youth, but also engaging like all ages together. Like that, I think more important than just getting the voice of the youth is to have the youth speaking with other generations as well and them having a discussion, which doesn't normally happen. And then also we're pretty hardcore, and Pontus has been great about making sure that there are also always a very good gender split, or as best as we can get. Because it's not just about engaging young boys, it's also about engaging young girls. It's not only about engaging all ages, but we want the elder women in the community as well. So these are the things that are important for us, and we want to set an example that others can follow with that.
I think we have time for just one more, just because we're about to run off. So.
Hi, I'm not sure if it's a question or an ask, and it completely summarizes all the other questions we had in here and what you just said. I run a project in the UK in a very small town. We're trying to recreate it. But I'm also a blogger, and I did a lot of research into civic engagement projects in Western and Eastern Europe. What you're doing is amazing, and you have amazing budgets to do it as well. I understand you're very small, but are you, and if you're not, can you please document it real time? Not like usually we have a non-profit sector when we have a report and learnings and impact, but I'm not interested in maps as such. What we're interested in is how can we talk to the local government? I know that we have different groups engaged and we're working on that. But I'm sure that with the amount of money you're spending and time you're spending on your project, you have amazing learnings about what works, what doesn't. How can if not UN, then who else knows how I can talk to the local council about Minecraft, of course. We have parents, we have grown-ups, we have grandmas who are playing Minecraft, that's not a problem. but we don't know where the challenges are going to come before we spend the budget on it. And the community of Minecrafters is so amazing around the world that they can take what you've learned and replicate it, even on a minimal scale. If you don't do it, then others will. So
Yeah,
please do.
Yeah, you know, I guess there's kind of two layers to this documentation process, right? So we have blockbyblock.org, which is a very basic blog. And, you know, it's a bit of a production blog of like, here's what's going on. It's not super detailed, but it gives people a good idea of what's happening. And we actually have plans to increase what we do and what we show on that blog. And then you have that other level of like overcoming challenges. And, you know, documenting that publicly can be difficult. You know, you don't want to scare people off from wanting to work with you because they're afraid you're going to write this blog post about how tough it was to get through with them. But we are definitely, you know, I know that the team over there are keeping track of all of this stuff, and maybe there is a way that we can figure out to be able to share that information in a way that doesn't target anyone specifically. I don't know, Pontus, if you have something to add to that.
Yeah, sure. We kind of feel that we've done enough projects now. I mean, when we started this, we had no idea if it was going to work at all. We thought it would work, but we really didn't know. But now, kind of 10, 15 projects in, we really know it works. So this year we've really started documenting, and we're working on a couple of methodology documents explaining exactly the process that we follow and so on. And we want to do some kind of case study type reports and that kind of thing. And we certainly can make that publicly available on the website. But just to add also that we're really happy to, from UN Habitat side, to talk to people either on Skype or if we're in the UK or something like that, come and talk to people. Our focus is very much on developing countries, but we do want this approach to be something that local authorities across the world adopt as a methodology. So I've done a couple of presentations. I did this kind of Skype presentation for a number of people at Manchester City Council, I think last year, talking about how we're doing it, and we'd be totally open to doing more of those kind of things.
Well, thank you everyone for coming. If you have more questions, I'm sure everyone here can stick around for a little while and we can answer questions, not questions for the whole audience, but just individually over here. But thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of MineCon.
Thank you very much.